welcome to Nugg Talk.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Nugg Talk, a weekly podcast where we talk about everything going on in the NBA, and more specifically, everything going on with your Denver Nuggets. I'm your host, Loki, and I'm back once again with my host, Philip. Phil, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Should I call you Phil or Philip? What should the people call you, Phil?
I'll tell you what. Anyone who's listening to this, you decide.
Well, that's lame. That was really anticlimactic. Well, Phil, you suck. Well, time to get into the news. And Phil, I was so close. I was on the precipice of being, just the ultimate predictor. But they had to fucking tease me and ruin my prediction.
You were more or less right, though.
I was close, but apparently Miami doesn't like Chris Paul. But anyways, Russell Westbrook got traded to the Houston Rockets this past week, which I saw coming miles away. I just thought they would do it in a 3-team deal. Unfortunately, they decided, no, we're going to just do Chris Paul straight for CP3 and some picks. A lot of picks, like 4 picks. 2 of them are swaps, 2 of them are just first-round picks, which just shows, like, damn, Chris Paul, you really hurt your career a lot. But yeah, so Oklahoma City is officially dead. Sorry. Rest in peace. We can have a moment of silence.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, it was good. That's fine. I feel like that was nice enough.
I don't like them.
It's okay. But, hey, Russell Westbrook's on the Rockets. What do you think, Phil?
I mean, on paper, that looks kind of scary, but I'm skeptical.
Why are you skeptical?
Russ and James Harden are the 2 most ball-dominant players in the NBA. They'll get their assists, but that's the thing. It's going to just be kind of like what the Rockets already were, but with just Russ and James Harden passing back and forth to each other. I don't know. I mean, talent-wise, it should work, but I'm just skeptical.
Yeah, I could see where the skepticism comes from. I do think it will work better until they hate each other.
Yeah, it helps that Harden and Russ don't hate each other right now. So
like they like each other, so it probably will work better. And like obviously CP3 was going to get traded once Paul George got traded. I think everyone should have saw that coming. He's on Houston. I think they are better just because I do think Russell Westbrook, obviously he's younger than CP3, so he's better there. He's more athletic than CP3. Can he shoot? No,
he cannot.
Cannot shoot a 3 for his life. Sometimes he can. Really iffy. Who knows? But
that won't stop him from shooting them anyways, though.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to shoot them anyways. My thing with it is, how does it work in the D'Antoni system? So his system's always been 7 seconds or less. Like you run up 7 seconds or less, you're shooting something, whether it's 3 or it's a layup. Like that's always been what it's been. It's never changed and never will change. That's why Melo didn't work, because there was literally the time Melo was there preseason, pull up, fake the 3, pull up a mid-range shot, and they were pissed at him, and he said, I'm sorry. Like, you're taking 3s or you're doing layups. Now, Russell Westbrook can push the offense very well. We've seen him. He's one of the best fast break players in the league. Mm-hmm. So he can do the layup part. Now, can he do the 3 part?
Does not appear like he can. Didn't he have, like, a career worst shooting the 3 this year?
I think he did, but that was also just because he was the only one that was like willing to take contested 3s or bad 3s and things like that. It was a mixture of that OKC team didn't have that much outside shooting except for our boy, Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
And Paul George, and I think like maybe another player. I don't know. I don't really know their roster that well. Like, most of it's getting traded anyways. But yeah, he's not good at shooting 3s. I don't know if they're going to want him to run up the court and then just toss them up, because that's what they usually want, or find people to toss them up. But it's going to be weird. I don't know who's going to be point guard. Is he going to be point guard? Is he going to defer for James Harden to be point guard? What's going to happen there? So what do you think? Think he's going to defer?
I don't think Russell Westbrook wouldn't defer to Kevin Durant. I can't imagine he's going to defer to James Harden. That's why I'm skeptical. I think they both want and demand the ball in their hands, and there's only one ball. But, it'll be a fun team to watch. They're still probably going to be good, so.
Yeah, they'll be good. They're going to be better than us probably just because the way their offense runs wins regular season games. Like, it's how we used to win back when we had George Karl. You run fast, you're going to win most games because most people don't want to run in the NBA, and they get tired, and then they're bad on defense, and then they shoot poor shots because they're bad on offensive side because they're tired. It's the same concept that we should use more in Denver. I like that we stayed away from it in Malone's system, but I think one of our issues this past year was we didn't run enough, and we should run more, especially in the regular season. But I do think focusing on half court's important.
It's good. It's good to have a good balance. I think that's why the Nuggets showed some pretty early returns in the playoffs.
But like getting to that, it's where I'm saying the balance that you're talking about. Once it comes to the point where they can't run the ball anymore and it gets to playoffs where it's mainly half-court offense, that's where I see the issues coming. Because can they play a good two-man game where one turn it's Harden, one turn it's Westbrook? Can they have that switch off where they're doing that in the point where they respect each other? Similar to how LeBron and Kyrie did it in Cleveland. Because there was points where LeBron was like, okay, it's not my night. Let Kyrie handle it. Other times it was Kyrie was like, okay, I'll play off ball. LeBron's doing pretty well. So can they figure out that type of, I don't know, partnership to say?
Can they hold their egos in check, essentially?
It really does come down to that. Can they hold their egos in check? I will say this. I have a hot take. I'm going to take my shot. This is a new segment we're doing. We're doing Take a Shot. All right?
All right, I like it.
This is how it works. I'm going to do a prediction. This is my shot that I'm taking. If I get it wrong, at some point whenever I get it wrong, I will have to take a shot of alcohol of your choice on the podcast. That's how it's going to go. And we will do this periodically throughout when we have our moments where we feel like we want to take a shot. Mine is, I don't think Russell Westbrook's going to get a triple-double next season. I don't think he'll average that. I think it's going to be the first season in a long time he's not going to average a triple-double. I just don't see it happening.
I think that's fair. I think James Harden's going to take away a bunch of assists, and he gets triple doubles once in a while too. So
I just don't think they're going to deal with that weird bullshit at the free throw line where they would just let Russell Westbrook go get the rebound or stuff like that.
Capella likes his rebounds.
Yeah, that's how Capella gets money. So I don't think they're going to be okay with some of the stat padding times when he got his triple doubles. He still got real triple doubles, but sometimes they helped him out to make sure he got it. So I don't think he's going to get there. And also, I think Harden has to play point guard at some points throughout this year. Because that was the issue that him and Chris Paul had, was Harden liked playing point guard, but Chris Paul also liked playing point guard. It's going to be the same issue at some point. I don't know when they're going to figure out. Maybe they don't figure out. Maybe they do. Who knows?
Yeah, that team's going to be interesting to watch. If this doesn't work for them, then...
I mean, you don't really blow it up, I don't think.
I don't think you
figure
blow
out
it
a
up
way to make it work.
But at the same time, like, I don't know.
I think it was a good trade for both parties. The only real loser in this is Chris Paul. But I think for Oklahoma, you're rebuilding. It makes sense. You got so many picks now. Ours are not going to be good. But the Clippers ones will be good. Presumably could be good because they're really far in the future. And the Houston ones could be good if this stuff doesn't pan out well.
It doesn't pan out.
They blow up or they start to rebuild on their own as well. So for those ones, they could have a really high potential future because, let's be honest here, there's no one's going to sign in Oklahoma City. Welcome to our lives, Oklahoma. No one's coming to you if they're a top free agent. They're just not going to come.
Get used to it.
Because you're in Oklahoma. So better build through the draft because that's what we did. And then you might get a kind of good all-star like we did in Paul Millsap. So for all the Oklahoma fans who might listen to this podcast,
and then
there's hope.
And then a couple years after that, that's when you'll break through and sign Giannis.
No, that's not going to happen. Wait. I know you're dreaming for that, but that's not happening.
Let me dream. Let me dream. It's 2 years away. I'm dreaming.
But yeah, for Houston, where this puts them, I don't think it really changes their bar of where we put them from the last episode.
They're right on the same tier as they already were.
It just depends on how it mixes, I guess. But, I don't know. I think Westbrook's good. I think they'll get along. They still obviously could add more pieces, like vet minimum guys, maybe trade for Iggy, maybe sign JR, who got waived. I don't know. There's opportunities for them to get more people to help out. But for the most part, I think this just helps mainly more for a chemistry issue. I think it does hurt Mike D'Antoni because he's probably like, God damn it, I don't want to deal with so many ball hogs.
Yeah, he has
Stop it. Because to Chris Paul's credit, at least he passes.
Yeah,
he passes. He's
Russell passes when he doesn't have a shot.
Just
frequently.
Both of those, it's going to be a lot of dribbling and then passing at the last second of the shot clock when it comes to those half-court things, and that's just not going to work all the time. That's one of the reasons why they lost to the Warriors, just because their offense became predictable. It was either Harden was going to shoot or he's going to pass to the last second to someone who's kind of open.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I don't think
they're gonna whoop us. Like, I know that
they're always gonna be tough.
Don't be
matchup
offended,
for us.
Nuggets fans, when I say that, but it's not because of those two. It's because of Capella. It will
Capella.
always be because of Capella.
It's also a little bit of Russ and Harden always kind of.
We beat Russ. Russ now will learn to beat us again. It's been a while since he beat us.
Russ hasn't beat us in like 2 years.
He hasn't beat us since he made that shot
to knock us out of the
2
playoffs.
years ago to knock us out of the playoffs and get his triple-double, which was impressive. I'll give him that. But, like, yeah, that pick and roll, either one, when Russ comes off the pick and roll or Harden comes off the pick and roll, it's going to be hard for Jamal to guard it. It's going to be hard for Jokic to guard it. And Gary has always struggled a little bit with James Harden. I think that's one of the main perimeter guys Gary has trouble guarding. It's just not his matchup. Maybe he's learned to be better. Hopefully he has, but I don't know. He's always struggled with James Harden.
Yeah.
But with that being said, like I said, CP3, only real loser in this trade. Obviously, Oklahoma doesn't want him. It's been reported they don't want him. He doesn't want to play in Oklahoma City.
No.
I mean, especially if they're rebuilding. It makes no sense. He's old. He's looking for a championship. He wants to at least have a good last couple of years. It doesn't help that he's really hurt his image and that he's really hurt his trade value, because literally everywhere he goes, he has issues, whether it was with the Hornets kind of towards the end where he was pushing to get traded to LA, with the Clippers where he got in a fight with basically all of his teammates and then just left, and then now basically Houston where he had reported issues with James Harden, whether he did or whether he didn't. He's not there anymore, so he probably did.
Seems like he leaves a lot of destruction in his wake.
Yeah, so doesn't help for his trade value. But where do you think are possibilities, Phil? Where do you think he could go?
I just feel like no one wants him right now. I'll tell you what, for the memes, he should go back to New Orleans.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. They have Lonzo, but shit, send him to New York. They'll give up something for him.
New York could trade for him. I could see that. It's like most likely Heat are still kind of in there, but they're reluctant. Apparently, Pistons wanted the West. It's basically the market for Westbrook, but more reluctant now. Like the Pistons, Heat, Knicks, Timberwolves, maybe, and maybe this is very unlikely. If Oklahoma was willing to give him this much money, they could do a buyout, and then he could
go wherever
pull
he
a
wants.
boogie and vet minimum to the Lakers. Doubt it. Really doubt it. That seems super unlikely. But
that would suck.
It has been reported that might be a possibility. I really hope not. I think it's very unlikely, and I just don't think it could happen. But we have to think it could happen.
Who knows at this
think
point.
he's going to go to the Timberwolves.
Timberwolves, I could see that happening, but I feel like we've said the Timberwolves are going to get someone for the last month, and they've gotten nobody.
That's why I think they're going to get Chris Paul, because they got no one, and because if the Thunder are rebuilding, it only makes sense to take on young, kind of promising talent, and I don't think Justice Winslow and Goran Dragic are going to be good for like a rebuilding team plus like a draft pick, and most likely Oklahoma City is probably going to have to give up a draft pick to get someone to take on CP3's salary. So they're just going to be gaining players with this. So if you want players, I think the most high upside one, even though I don't think he's really that good, he still has potential. Seems kind of lazy. Andrew Wiggins seems like the best person to get for this rebuild. If you're going to go get someone for the rebuild, obviously they would need another player like a Jeff Teague to fill out the salary or something like that. But
that would be a good trade for the Thunder. I don't really. I'm okay with the Timberwolves doing that.
If you're rebuilding, it makes the most sense.
Very okay.
And then for the
that.
Timberwolves, if you want to compete in this new West, you're not going to compete with Wiggins and Towns. It's been very much seen. The only reason they got to the playoffs that one time and beat us to get to the playoffs was because of Jimmy Butler.
And they barely made it.
And it was very apparent from Jimmy Butler beating them in practice, too, with third stringers, which is still my favorite story in all of the NBA. I think that's one of the best. But yeah, I think the Timberwolves make the most sense. I really do. I would not be shocked if he gets traded there. I don't think he would be against getting traded there because they do have at least talent with Towns. Towns is talented. We can't argue that. Now, is he committed? You can argue that. He has a lack of commitment just like Wiggins does.
I think the third best center in the league, maybe fourth.
Yeah, probably around there. He's behind Joel and Jokic for sure. But yeah, he's top 5 for sure. I can't think of any other of the guys right now off the top of my head.
Gobert,
maybe
Boogie.
Better.
Probably
Boogie,
not
no.
Boogie.
Not Boogie.
Capella, maybe no.
Maybe if you count Anthony Davis as a center, who knows?
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, I just think it makes the most sense. Chris Paul could probably teach Towns to actually care about basketball instead of just worrying about maybe his numbers.
If Jimmy Butler couldn't do it, I don't think anyone can do it.
I mean, maybe not, but I still think for both sides,
it just feels like that's just a melting pot. That's just going to be really bad for the Timberwolves.
What?
Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns, like, they butted heads so much. I just feel like, and Chris Paul's caused so many issues that would just be a...
Maybe it would, but they have no choices at this point. What are you going to do as a Timberwolves? You're paying Andrew Wiggins a lot of money, and he's not producing.
That's true. I don't know. I don't care what they do. It makes me happy.
I'm just saying, to predict where CP3 goes, I think that's the most likely option.
Yeah,
honestly,
I could see that.
Random things could happen. He could go to Detroit. He could maybe go to New York. But I'm going to say he's going to Timberwolves. You heard it here first.
Another hot...
No, I'm not doing a shot on that one because not confident. But I just think that one seems likely. I'm confident that Russell Westbrook will not average a triple-double next year.
Another place that I feel like could be a sleeper, everyone says that they need a point guard and they have yet to get their point guard. Maybe they did get their point guard.
Say Suns?
I was going to say the Pacers, but they got Brogdon, didn't they?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to play a point guard. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Pacers would be interesting. I think Oladipo needs a running mate, so...
He did this to himself. This is more CP3's fault. He did all this to himself by being a drama queen.
Being CP3? Forcing his way out of every place he's
Forcing his way out of place, gaining fights with a star. Obviously, it all comes down to ego. He wanted to be the number one guy on the Rockets. It's obviously Harden. Harden's the number one guy there. And that could be the same issue that Westbrook and Harden get into right now. I think it's less likely just because they are friends and maybe they can figure it out. Mm-hmm. But it's a possibility as well just because they've never played in a starting lineup together.
Yeah, they haven't played together since James Harden really popped off. So,
but overall, this trade, for the Nuggets' perspective, it doesn't really change a lot.
Move the needle very much.
And if Chris Paul does end up going to Minnesota, I'm still not scared of them. It makes them better, and it'll make the West hard. It'll make it hard to win games during the regular season, and it could hurt our record, but I don't think...
The West is already hard, so, it's fine.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I still think it's 1 Clippers, 2 Lakers, 3 Rockets, 4 or 5. You can toss it up, Utah or us.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this makes the...
It doesn't
Rockets
change
any better.
West. Yeah, it doesn't change the West. Now, again, if they get Iggy, that would make them a lot better, I think, just because they've still been missing a defender since they got rid of Ariza.
Yeah.
So Iggy's a huge player in this market. I think he's the next domino. It's not anymore these big dominoes. Like, Chris Paul's a domino, too, but, I think where Iggy goes could really change the West.
Change some stuff, yeah.
So, and also just to amend something from last episode, we don't actually have our mid-level exception because we have to pay for Jeremy's salary, so we don't have that. So
yeah,
this is our team.
That's our team, which is okay. Jeremy Grant is probably is better than anything we would get from a mid-level exception. So
yeah, I think Jeremy was a very good pickup. OKC's dead, everything like that. Chris Paul, who knows where he go, but just gonna say, man, we have to give credit to at least one person on the two people on the Banana Boat crew. We're gonna give credit to LeBron because somehow he has managed to maintain being the best player in his age compared to all these other guys who came in the league at the same time as him.
LeBron is the 5th oldest player in the NBA, and he's still the best player in the NBA.
Which is amazing. 2, he has ego issues, but when you're best player in the world, it's okay to be LeBron and have an ego. Second one, Dwayne Wade. He was a good player. He realized he wasn't good anymore, and he decided to finally go to the bench, which is something that Chris Paul hasn't been able to do. Not saying Chris Paul needs to go to bench, but I think Chris Paul needs to check his ego a little bit and realize he's probably a number 2 player on the team now.
Mm-hmm.
And compared to the other guy in the banana boat, Carmelo Anthony, that guy never checked his ego, ever. And now we see where he is.
Kind of ruined his career.
And speaking of Carmelo Anthony, Chauncey Billups had one of the best answers to an interview question of all time when asked why Carmelo's not in the league. he was on like a serious podcast, and they asked him his thoughts about why Carmelo's not in the league, and he was saying Carmelo's a great teammate. He always went to practice. He always showed up for practice. He always showed up for all the games, which isn't kind of true because sometimes he gets suspended. But anyways, that he was a good teammate. But the fact was Carmelo focused on scoring 30 points way too much. That we could have won games, and he had 26 or 22, and he'd be upset that he had that and we won. But we could have lost games and he got 30 and he'd be happy. And that, as a Nuggets fan, pissed me off so much. Like, I knew it was a thing, but just to hear it actually be true was really annoying.
That's why we need to give a big shout out to our boy Nikola Jokic, because he does not care about that at all. He just cares about winning.
The whole team. This whole team cares just about winning.
We have a very good culture. Our culture was not good while Carmelo Anthony was on the Nuggets.
I'm just pissed off to hear that. As a Nuggets fan, we had a chance to win a title if he actually wasn't an egomaniac, if he actually was okay with playing team ball. He showed a little bit of it in that stint we had when we went to the Western Conference Finals when we went in 2009. He actually played defense for once in his career.
That was Chauncey's.
Chauncey helped, exactly. So Chauncey could help, but not enough to the point where he still didn't care about scoring so much. And then Chauncey went on to say that this is why he's probably not in the league, because he can't check his ego to realize he's not that guy anymore who's going to score 30 a night. Because he's not. You're old, man. You're not going to do that.
And you've been bad for years, dude.
But, man, I'm just saying, it really pisses me off. Because especially the year where he had requested for the trade, if he just stuck it out that year, I genuinely believe that we could have beat that Mavericks team that went to the championship and could have competed with that Heat team. Because we had, the year before, we probably would have been the number one team in the West if it wasn't for George Karl getting cancer.
Yeah.
And then the next year, when we have the same team intact, George Karl is back, we have to deal with all of his BS about wanting to go to New York just because he wanted to go to New York. What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
You ruined your whole career in the Nuggets in general. It's a rant for me. And I'm just really frustrated with it.
We are on greener pastures.
I'm just upset. I just don't like it. I just don't like it at all. It makes no sense to why he wanted to go to New York in the first place. The best Carmelo that ever existed was Nuggets Carmelo. I think everyone knows that.
Yep.
You
By
ruined
far.
it. You ruined it all. Like, I know he had his best season technically in New York, but that's because that's when he could be the egomaniac that could score 30 every night and lose games or win games, mostly lose games. So, I mean, even with the Jeremy Lin thing, he had issues with Jeremy Lin when he was popular for like 2 weeks.
Exactly. He made the playoffs once with the Knicks, so.
I think he made it a couple times, like twice, but he never got past the second round. I think he got past the first round once, then he went to the second round against the Pacers and got waxed against Paul George and Roy Hibbert. Mainly Roy Hibbert. There's a fucking highlight I remember. He goes into the paint and Roy Hibbert just smacks the ball against the rim when he goes in for a layup. It's great. But yeah, now that I got that off my chest, I'm just really upset to hear that. But thank you, Chauncey, for confirming what we all knew, that the problem was Carmelo, and what could have been was really just disappointing to figure out that was just because he wanted to score.
Disappointing. But
again, like you said, greener pastures. We got guys who actually care about winning games and not their stats, which is good because that can always be an issue. And out of the guys that we have, I don't think any of them are really any threats to be guys who just care about their stats. I can't really think of any of them being that type of way. Hopefully not MPJ.
MPJ, I was gonna say, would be the one risk, but let's wait on that discussion.
I don't think he will be, but let's see him play first.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, at least we got good guys, and Nikola is the best number 15 we ever have. I'm not gonna say that yet. Carmelo still has a better career, but if Nikola has a better career, we're retiring Nikola, not Carmelo. Just saying this right now. That's another hot take.
I think most Nugget fans want that to happen. So
I could just see us retire Carmelo's number and then force Nikola to change it, and I really hope we don't.
Because I feel like I do somewhat feel like Nikola could have a better career. He's already made All NBA first team. I don't think Carmelo's
if Nikola gets an MVP at any point, he deserves his number 15 retired because he's the only MVP we would have.
That's true.
And he was close to getting MVP this year. He was 4th. Not bad. With that being said,
he's not even in his prime yet.
He's not even in his prime yet. So he has still a lot of room to improve. But with that being said, 2K ratings came out. And I know these don't really matter. It's a video game. But, people care. I kind of care.
I care.
Their top 10 it made sense. It started off with Kawhi. I mean, with LeBron and Kawhi. LeBron's apparently like a little bit better, but they have like the same rating. So that's what it is. I think third was it Kyrie? No, it's not Kyrie. I'm gonna look this up. What was the actual ratings?
Third is Giannis.
Third is Giannis, which I don't agree with. I think it should be KD, and they didn't change KD's rating based on his injury. He's still like a 96 or something. So I don't get how. I get Giannis had an MVP year, but he can't shoot. If you made KD and Giannis play each other, I promise you KD is going to beat Giannis more times than not.
They're both 96s.
I don't agree with that.
Same with
Giannis is 95.
Well, yeah. And James Harden is also a 96.
I think James Harden is better than Giannis just because Giannis
has
got exposed a little bit in the playoffs.
I mean, Giannis is... It's kind of scary
James
to think
Harden
about.
also gets exposed in the playoffs. I get that. But still, I think just make Kevin Durant better than Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, I think it's also just to give some shout out to Giannis is that he's also not in his prime and he's already this good. It's kind of scary.
I mean, he's having a LeBron trajectory of ratings when it comes to these type of games and just in general of improving every year. But yeah, then it's Kevin Durant, James Harden, Steph Curry, all 96, which I'm okay with that.
Steph's a 95.
Oh, it says 96 on here.
Oh.
95 then.
Maybe you're wrong.
I'll go
Maybe
with
you're right.
yours, Phil. And then Anthony Davis, then Paul George, then Damian Lillard, and to close out the top 10, Joel Embiid. But not our boy Nikola Jokic. What the fuck, 2K? I don't agree with this.
Let's just go through something real quick. So what all NBA team did Joel Embiid make?
Second.
And
no.
And what all NBA team did Nikola Jokic make?
First.
That's funny.
Where was Joel Embiid in MVP votes?
Not on there?
No, he wasn't on there.
Oh, who got fourth in the MVP voting?
I think it was Jokic.
Oh.
Who played better in the playoffs?
I think it was Nikola Jokic.
It was Nikola Jokic. I'm just saying, I don't get this. I get it, he's only 1 point better. I'm kind of nitpicking. But
we
still.
are definitely nitpicking, but Nikola Jokic is, I'm going to say it right now, he is better than Joel Embiid.
I can even be devil's advocate. If you want to make him better just because Joel's obviously better at defense, sure. But make them the same rating. I don't think it's right to make Nikola down one. Again, nitpicking.
It's nitpicking.
I'm upset about this. I was actually very upset about this.
Let's also have hope and confidence that that's not going to matter. Once the season starts, it's going to change.
I think it should change. But I mean, just in the general, I just don't understand that idea of making Joel Embiid better than him. I think you should put them at the same level.
You should. If all you're looking at is stats, then maybe. But Jokic does way more for a team than Joel does on the offensive end. Just Joel scores the ball because he can't pass the ball to save his life.
Well, I mean, he can pass, but he doesn't have the ability that Jokic has. He just doesn't. Defensively, yes, he's way better. We all get this. It's fine. Post moves-wise, they play differently in the post. They're both dominant, just in different ways. Like, I would say that Joel is more like a Hakeem type in the paint, and then Nikola Jokic is just a unicorn, because I don't know even how to explain how he plays in the post, because he just makes the weirdest of shots. But he makes them, and he makes them a lot. I'm just saying, I think they should be rated the same. I don't agree with this, Ronnie 2K. You're not listening to this. But if anyone wants to tweet Ronnie 2K that is listening to this, tweet at him and tell him that we're all upset.
Yeah, get up in his mentions, because it doesn't make sense.
He was first team.
If at the very least, you can still respect Joel. He's a great player, but you're disrespecting Jokic by not putting him at least on the same rating as Joel Embiid.
And then also, I get Donovan Mitchell, 88, sure. Rudy Gobert, 88? Okay, maybe. I don't know. I don't think
Ben Simmons is an 87.
I don't like that either. I think Ben Simmons is better than Donovan Mitchell. This is dumb. I don't like this whole rookie debate thing that's still going on like 2 years later.
I know.
Ben Simmons is better than Donovan Mitchell. I will say it right now. If Ben Simmons can do what he's doing right now without a jump shot, he is better than Donovan Mitchell.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Like, it makes no sense that you put Donovan Mitchell above Ben Simmons, in my opinion.
So let's talk about something else.
Also, Ben Simmons did get a max deal, which I'm just going to say he deserves it.
He deserves it, yeah.
Don't think he does, but he does.
How do you feel about Zion getting an 81 overall and then, like, as a rookie and then, like, I don't know, players like Jamal are also like right there. Like I think he's an 82 this year.
I think it's fine. I mean, they'll change it as it goes. I feel like that's what they usually do for most. He probably got a little bit higher just because I think they usually, for number one picks, they usually like automatically are just a 79. But I think just because he's so hyped up, they were like, we got to give him a little bit better.
That's what I don't like about 2Ks. Ronnie 2K's ratings are really hype driven, and I don't like that.
But they will change it as the season goes. These are just the initial ones. It will change as the season goes. Best 3-point shooter is Steph, which makes sense. Then Clay, and then Joe Harris, which was random, but cool for Joe Harris. One thing I am kind of upset about, I wish they did more of the top dynamic duos ratings, because they only did the 4 best, which I agree with the 4 best. Like LeBron and Anthony Davis are the best, then Kawhi and Paul George, then Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Obviously, Kevin Durant's not playing, but in the video game, he is.
Yeah, until the season starts.
Yeah, and then the 4th one was James Harden and Russell Westbrook. But I want to see where Jokic and Jamal are on that list. Like, I think it'd be good to see where they are on that list. But they didn't show that. Either way, still upset. I'm just saying, Giannis should be lower. Jokic should be the same as Joel Embiid. And why the hell is Ben Simmons rated less than Donovan Mitchell? I don't agree with these things. Damian Lillard, I'm okay with him at the 9th best. Paul George, okay with him at the 8th best. I think they deserve it.
They're top 10 players. It's just I wholeheartedly believe that Jokic is a top 10 player in this league, and that's the one thing that pisses me off. So
I mean, just put them at the same level. I really don't get why they changed it. I don't understand. I can't think that we'd be the only people who don't agree with that. Like, even if you're a Sixers fan, you agree with the being above him. But I feel like if you're unbiased, like even take us out of it, I feel like unbiased people who aren't Nuggets or Sixers fans would at least say put them on a similar
they're
scale.
At least on the same tier of player. I just think it's also just interesting just because didn't 2K19 isn't Jokic like a 93 on it right now?
I don't remember because I haven't played 2K in a while, but from what I remember, there was a point where he was better than him, but the ratings change all the time. But my thing is, if we're just going to go based on what we last saw, Joel Embiid, he was injured, granted, but he wasn't doing that great in the playoffs. Nikola Jokic had a great playoffs. Probably one of the best first-time playoff performances any NBA player in history has ever had.
Yeah, he did great.
Like he struggled the first couple games because he didn't know when to shoot and when to pass, which is a constant issue with him. But he figured it out, and I think now hopefully he knows it forever based on that experience. But I just think like even if you're unbiased, you're not a Nuggets fan or you're not a Sixers fan, you have to at least say put them on the same scale. They're both the best centers in the league. I'll say that, you'll say that, we agree on that. They're both the best centers in the league.
Oh, top 2, 100%.
You can flip-flop them all you want. I don't care. There's arguments for either side. And that's why I'm saying, because there are arguments on either side, make each of them a 91. They should both just be a 91. Mm-hmm. I don't like that he's a 90. It makes me upset.
This is also probably nitpicking a little bit, but you have to take in what has happened recently into account. Kyrie Irving should be not a 91. I think he should be a 90 probably, but he's not been better than Jokic the last year.
I'm at a 91.
I'm not.
I just think he's really talented.
He's probably a better 2K player than Jokic, but
I'm okay with Kyrie Irving at a 91. I think that's fine for him because I just think that's just Kyrie Irving.
I guess
he's probably the best one-on-one player we have in the NBA, so I'm okay with that.
That's fair,
but still the same. Also, I kind of wanted to see team ratings. They didn't do team ratings, I don't think. Just want to see where we were rated.
Better be top 5.
I don't think we'll be top 5, but I would like to be in a top 10 for sure. Hopefully top 8.
Why not top 5?
I just don't think we'll be top 5.
Like Bucks, Sixers, Lakers, Clippers. Shit. Okay, yeah.
Never mind. I don't think we're gonna be top 5 just because of the 2 teams in the East. They'll take us out of there. Top 5 in the West, yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. Like, hopefully we're in the top 8.
Yeah, I'll take top 8. We're definitely top 10. If we're not top 10, then you're just sleeping. Everyone's just sleeping.
Also,
on us.
If I load up that game and Gary Harris doesn't look like Gary Harris again after all this media attention we got this past year being in the playoffs and stuff, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, make our players look like our players. Like, Torrey Craig never looks like Torrey Craig. His rating's also really low. Torrey Craig's like always a 73. I think he's at least a 76 with how much he plays in a rotation.
I don't know how accurate these are, but let me pull it up real quick.
Just saying. I don't know if they have our actual full team ratings.
Apparently they do on 2kratings.com. I don't know what
Is that real?
I don't know.
Is that a real place?
I don't know if it's real, but it might not even be official. So, never mind.
But either way, I'm just excited to see where this goes. Yeah, we're all gonna buy 2K because we always do, because that's what basketball fans do.
I am thinking I'm going to buy the Dwayne Wade edition because I don't want the Anthony Davis edition. So,
Phil, that's just petty.
It is. It is petty and it is expensive. That could change, but at the moment where I don't have to spend money on it, that is going to happen.
Also, based on this website that you said,
yeah, I was wrong.
Well, no, it could be real. I don't know. But they have Carl Anthony as third, but then they have Nikola Vucevic as fourth with Rudy Gobert, which is like, good for you, Nikola Vucevic. I don't know if that should be accurate, but...
Yeah, what is Vucevic's rating? I feel like
88.
Jesus.
Apparently.
Well...
I mean, he made the All-Star, so
I don't disagree with that, but if he's an 88, then Jokic is a 91.
Yeah. Also, they should have released the rest of the rookies, too, because, like, I don't know what any of the other rookies' ratings are.
Yeah.
It's like, that would be way worse. But anyways, away from 2K, going into real life basketball, Summer League's still going on. Haven't been paying.
It ended today, I think.
It ended like yesterday or today. Grizzlies won the championship. Brandon Clark was the MVP for basically everything. We should have drafted Brandon Clark. I'm going to say it again because I said it on earlier podcasts. We should have done it and are going to regret that because we should have just traded up somehow. I don't know how, but I knew that kid was going to be good. He balled out. He was amazing. Again, it's Summer League. It's not like against actual NBA talent, but he showed a lot of promise. He made like first team all Summer League.
Yeah, I mean he played really well. That Grizzlies team's got some young talent. Ja Morant played pretty well too, didn't he?
No, he didn't even play at all.
See, I did not watch, admittedly.
Yeah, he didn't even play at all. And well, he celebrated like he did, but he didn't play at all. None of the like top guys did because Zion got his knee injury, so they were scared to play him anymore. RJ played. RJ actually started to play better as the tournament went on. He started off really, really bad, but he ended pretty well. So RJ has shown he has his promise. He just needs to get a little bit of a hang of it. And that Roy Huchimara guy that the Wizards got has actually been pretty good for them, even though they just took him solely on tickets. I swear to God, but it looks like it might pan out for them.
He's talented. Like, he's got to be talented.
I mean, he's talented, but you don't draft a guy that you don't even have a meeting with or like drills with or practice with. Like, they didn't even scout him.
Yeah, it's true. But
weird.
Yeah, I just, Summer League, my interest in Summer League plummeted once MPJ got hurt, so
it's fine. And I at least kind of watched in the meantime. But for our players, we had some promise. Brandon Goodwin was probably the best player we had.
I think he by far was.
He has shown that he can play in the league. And if Monte, we can't re-sign him because of cap issues or something like that, I am okay with Brandon Goodwin taking that role eventually from Monte. That's only if we can't re-sign Monte because he decides he wants starter money and he wants to go play somewhere else, which could very much happen at some point in this negotiation period.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Brandon Goodwin did really good. He showed that he can score the ball, which we always have known because he did it in G League, and he's shown that he can be a decent point guard, good at passing, knows how to run the offense pretty well. I would still say he has room for improvement, but obviously he does. He's in Summer League and in G League for a reason. He needs to improve. For the other guys, basically the rooks, Vanderbilt, he showed that he rebounds. That's what he does. He gets some rebounds. He's basically kind of like a better Kenneth Faried, but he led the Summer League in rebounding, so that's pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, he might get some garbage time minutes, and again, I don't know.
I think all these guys just need to go G League more, but
I think the Nuggets need to utilize G League more.
Probably do. I think they just need to stay there for a little bit longer. But with that being said, I think Vanderbilt had a pretty decent showing, especially showing us that he can play defensively and he can rebound the ball, which is great, and he can always be utilized if we ever have injuries or if we are lacking the ability to rebound against the team, I would say. But I don't think we should, because I think we're usually a pretty good rebounding team, and I expect that to stay. Welsh, he did all right.
Yeah.
I think he might be the next Tyler Lydon, which is sad, but I think he's just going to be a guy who we have on the team, and then once it's time, those like team options run out, we'll just let him hit the free market, or we just won't even pick up one. So no offense to Welsh, I just don't think there's a lot of space for him, and I don't think he's the replacement for
Plumlee.
If anything, we're hoping it's Bol Bol. So hopefully it is Bol Bol. Again, we didn't see Bol Bol play, but hopefully it's Bol Bol who replaces Plumlee when we have to do that. Chanchar, not Kankar. I really want to say Kankar. It's Chanchar. Also, what do you think of Bulbasaur and Chanchar? Or Charmeleon, or whatever? Charmander.
There's something there, Kian, but we're going to have to work on
Bulbul and Charmander.
Charmander.
Something Pokemon.
Bulbasaur and Charmander.
We're going to figure something out this Pokemon related, because it's there. There's the potential for it. Someone figure it out. But he did pretty good. He did good enough to actually officially get onto the roster. There's been reports we're going to sign him to not actually be a draft and stash guy anymore. So he should be with the team this year, which is exciting. He's pretty big small forward. I think he will replace Juancho once we let Juancho go after this year.
I think he's also some MPJ insurance.
Also, I don't know what's going on with Juancho. We might be trading him already because he deleted everything on his Instagram.
Really?
So I don't know if that was for a reason. But nothing really except for his profile picture is Nugget related anymore. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he knows something that we don't, or he just decided I gotta clear this up. I don't know. It was kind of weird. I don't know if he put stuff back on there, but he could already be on the trade market. I could see it. It would make sense if we got Chanchar, because
we don't really need him anymore if Chanchar is good, but
it just depends. I don't know what's going on with Juancho, but I just know that Juancho won't likely not be on the team after this year, which is sad because I really like him on the bench.
He's funny.
He's a funny guy.
And he showed so much promise.
He did. He had some good games, but boy's too skinny. He can't play defense.
Yeah.
He just can't, even though he can block. He just can't play defense.
Yeah. He's tall and he can shoot. That's about it.
I'm trying to think who else played in the summer league for us that did pretty well. I don't think there was anyone.
That's basically it.
Really else. But yeah, for the most part, those guys I think will all make the roster. They will have a time in between basically being like two-way players going to G League, coming back. I just think the reason that we don't keep them in G League for too long is I think Malone likes to have the rooks for a little bit just to talk to them, and then he'll send them away and then he'll bring them back. I don't know. I think it's just like a Malone type of thing.
Mentoring.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be for the most part. So that's done. Next thing to look forward to is FIBA. FIBA, we got Jokic is playing, which is good.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. Knock on wood. I think he won't, but I think it's good. It'll be kind of a good way for him to get started for the preseason because it's pretty close to when preseason starts.
Yeah.
So he'll get his legs up and running before other people will. Jamal has been reported today. He's going to the training camp. He got invited. Trey Lyles also got invited, which I think is funny, but he got invited. Andrew Wiggins did not accept the invite because, I don't know, he's weird. I don't get it. A lot of Canadians are really upset about it.
Whatever. Maybe he just
so
knows
Jamal is officially, I mean, either if Andrew Wiggins was playing, Jamal is the best player on Canada. With RJ Barrett, they're the top two, and then like Tristan Thompson and Kelly Olynyk and
I guess Trey.
So yeah, there's that team. So Team Canada, we can watch for them. Team Spain for Juancho. I don't think we got anyone else that's international. Maybe Chanchar. What's he from?
He's from Croatia, I think.
So maybe they'll play him.
He might play too, but I mean, Serbia and Canada are really the ones that I think most people would be interested in.
I think that Serbia actually has a real shot at going pretty far in this thing, and I'm gonna be rooting for Serbia.
I'm rooting for Serbia.
I'm not going against the United States. I'm not like unpatriotic, but I'm just saying I'm repping my boy.
I'm all about the Nuggets. I don't care about.
I'm gonna root for Canada, and I'm gonna root for Serbia. So when that happens, I'm ready for it.
I'm gonna root for Serbia in the Olympics too. I'm gonna be honest. So
I mean, that one they'll get waxed.
Well, yeah, but I'm still gonna root for them.
I mean, it helps Jokic because Anthony Davis is no longer playing in the World Cup, which is good because he said he wanted to focus on winning a championship with the Lakers. A lot of people are dropping out because it's so close to the regular season, which I get. I think it's more of you don't want to get injured. Like Ben Simmons dropped out. He's not doing it either.
That's pretty frequent.
Anthony Davis dropped out.
European players care about FIBA way more than American players do.
I think so too, and I just think it's more like maybe some of the teams are pushing them not to do it and things like that. Because I think the reason Wiggins is reported not to do it is because he wants to focus on Timberwolves season, which is like
Jokic didn't play in the last FIBA World Cup, so I feel like he probably felt obligated to do it this time.
Yeah, and I think Jokic is smart enough to know, hey, I will play, and then if we're up a shit ton, I'm gonna stop playing. I don't think he's gonna force too many minutes on himself early on in that thing. And I think mainly most of it is, if there's teams, hopefully their coaching staff knows that he's a very valuable player to us, and they will give him very minimal minutes against teams they know they can beat without him. Yeah. And then the teams they need him against, like Canada or Spain or Australia or United States, then he can play like a lot of minutes. But just manage our boy. Make sure he's okay, because I want to make sure he's fine, because I really would like him to start the season healthy. But yeah, that's all we have going on forward from there. Nothing really else going on. Like I said, Russell Westbrook, he's on the Rockets. It's going to look weird. Doesn't really affect us.
This is going to be a really weird season. A lot of faces in new places.
I think it is officially the season of duos now.
Yeah,
it's the season of duos. There are people who argue like, well, the Warriors are still they have like 3 All-Stars.
Yeah, they'll say the Lakers and the Warriors have 3 because of Draymond and Boogie, but it's really a season of duos.
It's really like the Warriors are like the closest, and then like the
Warriors,
Jazz.
the Warriors aren't though, because they don't have Clay this year.
Yeah, but like it's just like the Warriors and Jazz. Like if anything, those are like the closest to a 3-person team, because the Jazz do have. Well, technically 2 All-Stars, but one cried that he should have been an All-Star.
Donovan Mitchell is not an All-Star.
Oh, he's not an All-Star, but 2 really good players.
Michael Conley hasn't been one in a long time.
Yeah, but they got good players.
They have a big 3, but it's not exactly
it's not a dominant one. And then we can say we have
five.
one too. We have Millsap, so and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, season of duos. It's gonna be exciting to see. Not much else going on for the summer, but I'm more than confident there will always be more NBA news coming in the folds. Obviously, probably going to be a little bit less of Nuggets news, but we'll figure out something for the future podcast. I'm sure we will. We can maybe delve into past Nuggets teams or some other categories and things like that.
We can start making some rotation predictions or something.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But in the meantime, NBA, for the most part, going all sorts the Nuggets' way. Our title odds aren't the best, but obviously they're never going to give us
they never
good title
are.
odds.
Stop sleeping.
I do think that a lot of people have slept on us, and I think that that's unfortunate. But
is it unfortunate?
I mean, no. I mean, it helps if you actually want to bet on the Nuggets. If someone wants to bet, because right now I think our win projection's at 50, I would bet over on that.
I would bet over on that.
Because we won 54. And I get that the West is harder, but I don't think we're not going to win 50. Like, I think this team is set to win 50 wins. So if anyone wants to bet on that, go ahead. I think it's a very solid bet. But don't blame me if you lose on that. That's not my fault. I'm not legally obligated for that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see where the season goes, and we'll talk to you guys next week. But if you like the podcast, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment about what you would like us to talk about. We would definitely love to hear more about your opinions and everything like that. And we look forward to speaking to you guys next week. All right. See you guys.
Go Nuggets.